Warsaw. I'm really excited. I've only been to Krakow so far in Poland, and it was lovely. Everyone was so nice. So the fact that I get to start my time off here in Warsaw with Michelin recommended like restaurant that's affordable, like it's Italian food, like it's gonna be a good trip. Okay, so I made it to Braci and I am 2 minutes early now, which is great because normally I'm habitually late. So now let's go eat. Okay, so I'm just heading back home from the Braci. It was lovely. I had a really great truffle tartufo pasta. It was homemade, it was delicious, with a really lovely wine pairing. I couldn't make up my mind between the red or the white pairing, so they ended up giving me like a little like half glass of each, which was really nice. After that, I finished with a nice Italian cheese plate. It was delicious. Good morning! So it's my first full day here in Warsaw, and I figured what could be better than just kind of aimlessly wandering around and seeing what we stumble upon. Well, what I stumble upon, because I'm by myself, but I feel like I never am because I'm always talking to my camera. And we'll just kind of see where the day takes us. That's kind of my favorite way to explore a city for the first time. Plus, it really helps you get your bearings walking around. So it's a win-win. So one thing I just found out about the old town here in Warsaw is that most of it was destroyed during the August 1944 Polish uprising during the Nazi occupation. And once the war was over, they took so much pride in, their history that they rebuilt basically like all of this. And it's amazing because, looking at it, like you wouldn't necessarily know that it was built in like the 1940s, 1950s because of the style. In fact, I've seen other vloggers talking about how cool all of the old buildings are and all the history. Because it is very easy to assume that like these buildings are like insanely old because of the way they're built. But in fact, most of them were built like, after the war, or rebuilt, really. Which is crazy to think about because walking around, like you definitely get the feel of the history here, which is really amazing. So they obviously take a lot of pride here in their past as well as their future, which is amazing. And honestly, like, I love Poland. Everybody here is always so friendly. It's also really nice too because I know it can be intimidating for people, because Polish obviously is the language most people speak. So some people, I think, write this off as a place that like, oh, maybe they shouldn't go because they don't speak the language and it's intimidating, but pretty much everybody here speaks English. Obviously, they appreciate it if you try to speak Polish. I'm not going to try right now because my Polish is awful. I need to have somebody help me with it, at least for the basics. But honestly, it's just such good vibes here. If you've never been to Poland, definitely add it to your list. I feel like it's so underrated. It's honestly, I haven't seen that much of Warsaw yet, but it's a beautiful city so far, and I have been to Krakow, and Krakow was amazing. I'm dying to go back because 2 days there is not enough. But honestly, overall, really happy that my like adventure ended up bringing me to Warsaw, and the fact that the weather's good, like icing on the cake. So with that, I'm going to continue to wander around and we'll see what we find. Okay, also can we just take a second to appreciate like how beautiful this cheesecake is? Like, to me, this is the perfect like little, as I almost drop it, afternoon lunch, coffee and cheesecake next to a castle. What could be better? Okay, so behind me is a famous statue of Adam Mickiewicz. There's a good chance I've mispronounced his last name, so I apologize if I did. He was a really famous Polish poet. I heard somebody behind me use the word romanticism when I was kind of listening in on a free walking tour that just went by. So basically they put this statue up 100 years after his death as a way to honor him. His body originally was buried in Paris and then eventually was relocated to Krakow, where it remains. But because, you know, he's obviously a very famous Polish person, they've dedicated this beautiful little square to him. And I really love the gate. You can see there's like beautiful like flowers. It's just really ornate and kind of keeping with the theme of like romanticism. It's a very romantic gate. So like all of the little details just really bring it together. Even like the lamppost, I'll turn the camera around in a second so you can see, like super just beautiful and romantic and ornate, but like not in a gaudy way. It's just, they've really done a nice job with it. It's beautiful. So when you're walking around Old Town, don't miss out on checking out the statue, but also like admire the architecture of like the gate because it's beautiful. Okay, so now we're in Saxon Gardens. It's absolutely gorgeous. Right behind this fountain is the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier here in Poland. This garden in particular is really cool because it was one of the very first public gardens like ever. Even before Versailles was like a public like space. 1727 is when it opened to the public. For point of reference, 1797, I believe I just read, is, oh sorry, I need more coffee today. 1797, we're gonna go with it, is when Versailles opened to the public. So, literally one of the first public parks, and it's stunning. It's so beautiful. There's like willow trees and lakes, and the fountain's really beautiful, and it's just good vibes, especially on a day like today where it's just kind of like that perfect like balance between summer and fall. It's warm, but it's not too warm. It's just been such like a lovely day to wander around the park. So I feel really lucky that we've like stumbled upon it today as opposed to I think tomorrow when it's supposed to be raining. Really lucked out there. So I'm gonna go enjoy the park. Oh, this is seriously beautiful. My only regret right now is that I don't have a book to like sit here and read, but I also don't have a ton of time in Warsaw, so let's be honest, there's not much time for downtime and like, you know, relaxing and reading. But if I extend my trip, I will definitely be coming back over here with a book. So it's really interesting because as I was leaving the garden, I knew all the construction was here. I assumed it was construction, but it's actually the remnants of Poliski Square with Saski Palace, Brule Palace, and 3 tenement houses that were basically ruined during the war. And they left them here as like, you know, like remnants in order to go through and basically see what they could find, you know, artifact-wise. And it's apparently been like this for a while, and just recently in 2018, I guess they got approval to kind of do like a rebuild, but it looks like it's still, like there's little peek holes you can peek through, and it basically just looks like, you know, the ruins of like old buildings, like you can see the outlines of like where things were. So it's really fascinating to just like take a peek at while you're here. Don't miss it because it's really easy to miss. So anyway, I'm gonna go eat dinner now. They have dumplings, I think like pierogies, like I'll probably get like pierogies because Poland. So we'll check that out. And then I guess just have an early night.